Mega Man X is known for being the more extreme upgrade to the classic series, and the Mavericks are certainly no exception. Now, just in case some of you gamers aren't extreme enough to handle the Mega Man X series, here is the easiest Maverick from every Mega Man X game, X through X8. Ideally, by the time you finish this video, you will be extreme enough to handle the Mega Man X series, but just in case that doesn't work, try subscribing. I've heard that may be necessary before you do this. Mega Man X is of course the first game in the series, and its Mavericks are some of the most iconic of all time. Just to be clear though, this video is not about my favorite Maverick, this is about the easiest Maverick boss battle from every game. If you do want to see a video about my favorite Mavericks though, well, you're in luck because I've already made it. I'm also not going to be considering any of the Sigma bosses or mid-stage bosses or anything like that because I plan on talking about all of that in some of my other videos as long as you guys will be down to watch them. So comment down below if you are. Let's start off with some Mavericks who certainly are not the easiest though, like Sting Chameleon. Sting Chameleon is a beautiful Maverick and has one of my favorite designs, but if you go into this battle without the weakness, then you may have some trouble. I wouldn't say Sting Chameleon is the hardest Maverick or even close to it, but as a kid, I always took this guy out last just to make sure I had as many upgrades as possible when taking him on. If you have the boomerangs, the fights becomes a joke, but that seems to be the case with a lot of the Mavericks in Mega Man X1, so try to keep that in mind if you hear me not bringing up a weakness at some point in this video. Boomer Kawanger is where you get those boomerangs from, and this fight is notoriously pretty difficult. I actually personally do not think it's too hard, but there's no way I'd call this guy easy. He can easily catch you off guard by teleporting and just grabbing you and throwing you into the wall, and it is not a fun time, trust me. Launch Octopus can also be fairly challenging, especially if you do not have his weakness. There isn't really anything specific about this guy that's super hard or anything, but he just launches a ton of attacks at you constantly that each do a good amount of damage, so you better stock up on some hearts tanks before taking on this battle. Armored Armadillo can also give you a run for your money if you aren't careful, but I honestly think he's pretty easy. Obviously, if you have his weakness and knock his armor off, then he's a piece of cake, but that's just regular Armadillo. If you're fighting Armored Armadillo the whole time, then it can actually be a tough battle, but I think it's significantly more fun than it is difficult. The last four Mavericks are all extremely easy though, to the point where it's difficult to choose a winner. It's going to come down to either Storm Eagle, Flame Mammoth, Spark Mandrill, or Chill Penguin. Now, Storm Eagle, I guess, may be the most difficult out of these guys, but this fight is still super easy. The only way I could ever see this being a challenge is if you've somehow never played Mega Man X before in your entire life, or you just didn't get the dash upgrade for some reason, but why would you do that? In all honesty though, none of you guys should be dying to this guy. I mean, it's shameful to die to Storm Eagle. If you do manage to die to Storm Eagle somehow, tell no one. Keep it a secret to the grave. Spark Mandrill without his weakness actually isn't all that easy, but the problem is his weakness is the most dramatic in the entire game. If you have the ice power when fighting this guy, it is literally impossible to die, but I guess just because he gives you more of a challenge without the weakness, I'll say he's not the easiest. You're lucky, Spark Mandrill. You're lucky this time, because you could have been the easiest and we both know it. This means it's down to either Flame Mammoth or Chill Penguin. Both of these guys are stupid easy. I mean, Flame Mammoth barely even attacks you, and Chill Penguin is literally meant to be the first boss that beginners start off with. I guess maybe there is a slight challenge when fighting Flame Mammoth with being able to wall jump at the right times and stuff, but that's really grasping at straws. And you could say Chill Penguin has challenging moments, but you could also just blatantly lie and you would be doing the same thing. Because I am being forced to choose though, I'm going to have to go with Chill Penguin as the easy. Flame Mammoth is still laughably easy even without using his weakness, but the possibility of messing up an input and getting damaged somehow is slightly higher than when fighting Chill Penguin due to all the moving parts in this battle. It's easy to avoid of course, but with the moving platforms and the screen scrolling and Flame Mammoth shaking the ground with his big fat self, it seems like he puts up more of a fight. Which is why Chill Penguin is the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X. Mega Man X2 may, if anything, be easier than Mega Man X1 when it comes to the Mavericks. I wouldn't say the easiest Mavericks in Mega Man X2 are easier than Chill Penguin or anything like that, but there aren't really any Mavericks in this game that stand out as a difficult battle. Wheel Gator is notoriously annoying, but that's about it. You can obviously miss input or mess up somehow, but in reality, this fight is still super predictable and easy. You just need to get over the fact that you're fighting a crocodile. Magnus Centipede is not the easiest fight in the game for sure, but this feels like a very medium boss battle, and no, I'm still not doing the most medium Maverick from every Mega Man X game X-X8. Crystal Snail is super annoying. The boss battle is admittedly easy, but without his weakness, you can't kick him out of his shell, which sucks. That's the only thing I like doing with this guy. Plus, the time slowing down stuff gives me a headache, which makes it harder to play Mega Man. Bubble Crab is very cute, but because he has a water level, you may be exhausted by the time you get to his fight. Obviously, this guy is easy. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a super epic pro gamer, but I don't think I've ever died fighting this guy. Morph Moth's first half of fighting is literally just you beating up a piñata, and that is not a challenging endeavor. The butterfly portion of Morph Moth's fight is more like a normal boss fight and fairly challenging, but nothing my subscribers wouldn't be able to handle. Am I right, guys? We all know my subscribers are pro gamers and the best Mega Man players to ever walk the face of the earth. Wire Sponge is normally looked at as the starter boss of Mega Man X2, but I still do not think he is the easiest. This fight is certainly easy, but when Wire Sponge gets angry and starts to look weird, it becomes easier and easier to slip up and lose half of your health. Also, it can be a challenge not to get distracted looking at his ugly face, but we could talk about the ugliest Maverick from every Mega Man X game in another video. With 6 Mavericks eliminated, this means the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X2 is down to either Flame Stag or Overdrive Ostrich. Both of these boss battles are incredibly easy regardless of whether or not you have the weakness, but also both of these bosses are incredibly fun. A lot of times when a boss battle is easy, it gets too easy to the point where it's just boring and you want to move on to the next level, but these boss fights hit a perfect balance of an easy beginner boss fight that is still fun to take out, even if you are a pro gamer like myself. Deciding which of these guys is easier though is going to be significantly harder than trying to fight either one of them. Overdrive Ostrich has some basic jumping and a projectile that he launches into the sky every now and again, while Flame Stag just wall jumps like those aliens from Super Metroid while he changes the color of his flames, and that's pretty cool. It can be difficult to fit under the jumps in Overdrive Ostrich's fights without taking damage, and it also might be hard for some people to keep track of him while he's so far away and moving so quickly, so because of that, I'm going with Flame Stag as the easiest Maverick for Mega Man X2. Congratulations, Flame Stag, you are horrible at doing your job! You shouldn't be celebrating this, go to the gym, learn a new technique or something, you bum. Mega Man X3, the most underrated and overhated Mega Man X game of the original trilogy by far. According to some of the people in my comment section, the only reason this game is not as memorable as the other two in the series is because it's too hard. But I think all my subscribers know what I have to say about that. Mega Man X3 is certainly harder than both X2 and X1 to be fair, but I still think it's a fun game that improved on the series as a whole. The Mavericks are certainly some of the most difficult in the entire series though, which might make it hard to find an easy one. Neon Tiger is fake Mega Rob Dad's favorite Maverick from this game, and he also has a pretty fun fight. Calling this guy easy though would be absolutely insane. I don't know if I'd say he's the hardest or even that difficult of a fight, but there's no way in heck he's the easiest, so I just wanted to get him out of the way. Toxic Seahorse also is not going to be the easiest. I used to have more trouble with this guy than I do now, but every now and again I still get grazed by some acid balls, and let me tell you, that stuff really burns. Tunnel Rhino is a very basic boss, but he's one that seems a lot easier than he really is. His pattern is basic and overall easy to dodge, but if you miss or mess up one jump and get hit by his attacks, then you're going to lose a ton of your health and have trouble getting back into rhythm. He's obviously not the hardest Maverick in the game or anything like that, but he's also never a free win. Gravity Beetle is more on the easy side and seems a lot easier when you're watching gameplay than actually playing against him, but again, he just does so much damage that you can never let your guard down. A big trend with a lot of these Mega Man X3 Mavericks is not only do they do a ton of damage to you, but they also start to go invincible once they're at low health. They also start speeding up their attacks as well while they're invincible, and as you can probably imagine, this makes for a pretty bad time. I still don't think this or any of the trends in Mega Man X3 are unfair, but if you've played through this game all the way through, then you will understand why people say it's too hard. Even if you are one of my subscribers, who of course can get through this game without dying. Oh, what? You at home can't do that? Well, maybe you should subscribe. Crush Crawfish is one of my favorite boss battles in the game, but part of the fun comes from how tricky it is. The pattern of attacks you have to dodge isn't anything special, but it has very tight windows and gaps to let you dodge them while still being able to attack consistently. Definitely not the easiest Maverick from this game, but maybe one of the most fun Maverick battles. Blast Hornet's fight also is not the easiest. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it is hard to hit this guy while dealing with those dang bees the guy sent at you. He is for sure one of the easier fights though, especially if you have good reflexes, but I don't think anyone would call him the easiest. The easiest would have to come down to either Volt Catfish or Blizzard Buffalo. I like both of these Mavericks a lot, and even though Volt Catfish is very goofy looking, I am still a big fan. The problem is, Volt Catfish can still be a little bit challenging to take out if you do not have his weakness, whereas Blizzard Buffalo can be killed with a hand tied behind your back, and you could still probably do it without taking damage. So yeah, Blizzard Buffalo is quite obviously the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X3. Mega Man X4, the first game on the PlayStation 1, features much easier Mavericks than Mega Man X3. Also, I have seen some people say that Mega Man X3 was technically the first Mega Man X game on the PlayStation 1, but I do not care because I do not acknowledge the existence of Mega Man X3's PlayStation 1 port. Web Spider is probably the beginning boss of this game that most people go for, but he's honestly alright. I like his boss battle a lot, and while it certainly is really easy, it's not a complete and utter snooze fest. Some other people in the comments section also said that Storm Owl is very challenging, but I do not agree. He's obviously not the easiest Maverick in the world, or even from Mega Man X4, but I always thought even without his weakness, he is still fairly easy to take out, but he's still not being awarded the award for being the easiest, so please don't hate me, guys. Come on, I can have an unpopular opinion every now and then, right? Oh wait, YouTube got rid of dislikes. Let's go. I can say whatever I want. Magma Dragoon is far too epic to have a lousy fight, and he fittingly delivers on bringing you a challenge, and Cyber Peacock is probably the most medium Maverick from this game, but by golly, I'm not making that a separate video, I've already told ya. Slash Beast looks a lot scarier than he really is, but he may be the most intimidating looking Maverick next to Magma Dragoon, but his boss battle is dummy easy. I think his pathetic boss battle is one of the reasons I complained about him so much in my best Mavericks video, but I still do enjoy this guy's design and his boss fights overall, so don't worry Slash Beast, I am not hating on you, I promise. Jet Stingray has a pretty cool boss fight, but it actually is one of the harder ones in this game. It is far from the hardest, and I wouldn't even call it hard, but compared to some of the other baby mode fights from Mega Man X4, it can sneak up on you. This means the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X4 is either Frost Walrus or Split Mushroom. You could probably guess from their design that these guys are the two easiest, but even if you couldn't, let's take a look at their boss fights. Frost Walrus is literally just Frostman from Mega Man 8, but as a Maverick, pretty much the exact same fight and pattern, so just make sure you jump over him. Split Mushroom, on the other hand, is almost like a Gemini Man and Morph Moth mixed together, but both of those guys are way harder than Split Mushroom, so I don't know what's happened with that. And I could honestly get away with saying these guys tie as the easiest, but I don't want to do that. I think ties are stupid, so I'm gonna say the easiest Maverick for Mega Man X4 is Frost Walrus, because I mean, yeah, Split Mushroom is super easy, but he's also a lot harder to defeat damageless than Frost Walrus. I love Frost Walrus's design, but he is by far the easiest Maverick to defeat without taking damage, even if you don't have his weakness. And for that reason, Frost Walrus is officially the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X4. Congratulations, gamers, you should now be able to take on every game from the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, or at least the easiest Maverick from every game from the Mega Man X Legacy Collection. But I know some of you guys are wondering, hey, what about Mega Man X Legacy Collection 2? What? No one was wondering that, really? Not a single one of you guys was wondering that? Well, I like those games, okay? I like every single one of those games, so we're going over them anyway. Mega Man X5 is a pretty fun game all things considered, but it has some of the weaker Mavericks in the entire series, both in terms of design and difficulty. Axel the Red won the award for the best Maverick from Mega Man X5, but they will not be winning the award for the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X5 anytime soon, or probably ever. This fight is super fun and not too hard, but there are too many things to dodge to consider it to be easy. Matrix is a weird dinosaur, and yes, the fight is easy overall, but if you aren't quick enough to hop up on the walls, the fire can burn you alive, which is never fun. The Skyver really grinds my gears because he looks like a kangaroo, and the fight isn't that bad without the weakness, but it's just kind of bad. It's like if Storm Eagle's flying attack was 10 times worse and 20 times more annoying. Dark Dizzy has a very cool design, but the fight is very run-of-the-mill. It's an easy fight overall, of course, but it feels like if Blast Hornet from Mega Man X3 was a bat instead of a bee. Izzy Glow is also really easy to defeat. I mean, he doesn't even really try to stop you from completely demolishing him, but somehow he still is not the easiest Maverick. Squid Adler is definitely my least favorite Maverick in this game, and it's not only because the stage is horrible. I mean, yes, it is of course horrible, but that is not the only reason why. I have a million reasons why, but one of those many reasons is the fact that this boss fight is just awful. This feels like a Mega Man X6 boss fight taking place inside of Mega Man X5, and while I do like Mega Man X6 a lot, we we all know this is not a good thing. Even if I did not hate this guy though, the fight is still rather difficult relative to every other fight in this game, meaning the easiest Maverick is going to come down to either Duff McWhalen or Grizzly Slash. Both of these Mavericks are giant intimidating beasts that get taken down the second you feel like killing them. They're both slow and have easy to dodge attacks, and they also both do almost nothing to stop you from murdering them. It's hard to choose which is the easier Maverick of course, but surprisingly I'm going to have to go with Grizzly Slash. Duff McWhalen is obviously still easy, and I'm sure most of you thought I would have chosen him as the easiest, but being underwater is always a debuff, plus it can be tricky trying to get through all those giant ice blocks. So yeah, despite having one of the most intimidating designs in Mega Man X5, Grizzly Slash is the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X5. Mega Man X6 does not get enough love, but despite my lawyer's recommendations, I actually think it's super fun if you really want to get into it and learn all the fun glitches. Its Maverick battles, on the other hand, are not typically the most fun. And I still enjoy the boss battles if I'm being completely honest, but a lot of them feel weirder than the previous games. Shield Sheldon is a good example because even though it's not a bad boss battle by any means, it just feels kind of awkward to deal with, though Sheldon here surprisingly is not the easiest Maverick. Infinity Majinion clones himself and turns into a bunch of bubbles that remind me of that one scene from The Incredibles that I cannot show you guys due to copyright, but unlike Mr. Incredible, we have a gun arm, so we can just shoot those stupid bubbles and kill Infinity Majinion. Metal Shark Player is probably the Maverick I want to meet the most in real life from Mega Man X6, but that's a topic for another day. This is probably one of the most normal feeling boss battles in Mega Man X6, but it only feels normal if you forget about Metal Shark Player's name. Overall, this battle is super fun though, and it can be tricky I guess, but it's not the hardest nor the easiest, nor the most medium. Rainy Turtleoid is the thickest Maverick from this game, but he is not the easiest. This battle used to give me a ton of trouble, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad at all, especially if you're Zero. Blaze Heatnix has a very interesting fight that I enjoy a good bit. The combination of a flying bird Maverick and a fire Maverick that can set the ground on fire works really well and makes for a unique battle, but oh my goodness, this fight can be really annoying. It's not hard or difficult or anything like that, but it certainly is not easy. Blizzard Wolfang has a really underwhelming fight. I don't even really know what to say about this fight, but I still would not call it the easiest. The easiest would have to come down to either Ground Scarvage or Commander Yamark. Now, Commander Yamark actually won the award for the best Maverick from Mega Man X6, so they're going for a double dip. Commander Yamark may be successful too, because this fight is very easy. They pretty much just sit there with their shield and shoot you a few times before you inevitably kill them. But problematically, Ground Scarvage may somehow be even easier. All he does is roll off screen, take a massive dump, and then roll back onto the screen showing you the dump he just made. This is the entire fight. It's disgusting and I hate it, but my disgust should not be counted as part of the challenge, so for that reason, Ground Scarvage is the easiest Maverick. I mean, come on, can you really blame me for this pick? He literally pulls up, you shoot him, he leaves and takes a crap, and then both of you repeat. This guy has always given me the creeps, but at least he's easy to take out, being the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X6. Mega Man X7 has bosses that are either the easiest thing you've ever seen in your life or the most frustrating experience on Earth for one reason or another. For example, Flame Hyenard is the biggest abomination in every single Mega Man series, and he's not even the easiest boss. If he was the easiest boss, I still would not be able to call him the easiest due to his horrid screams being the biggest obstacles in the entire game. Vanishing Gungaroo is also very frustrating. Somehow this guy won the Best Maverick Award from Mega Man X7, which is absurd. I don't know who was responsible for that, but this boss fight is awful. He does have a mech suit, and yes, that is super cool obviously, but this fight is super tedious. Splash Warfly is also a fairly annoying fight. It's not the hardest in the game, but it certainly is very stupid and I hate it. Also, Splash Warfly, if I ever see you in real life, I'm gonna bully you. Snipe Anteater has a really weird fight that mostly just consists of you waiting for an opportunity to attack, but the camera angles are far too challenging to see out of to consider this dude as the easiest. Wind Crowrang, or as I like to call him, Goth Storm Eagle, is a very standard boss battle with a very standard difficulty as well. Nothing too hard, but of course this guy is not going to be the easiest. Soldier Stone Kong is a pretty easy boss battle overall, but personally I'm very bad at depth perception with 3D platforming games, which makes me a lot worse at dealing with X7 and X8 Mavericks, but this guy specifically really messes me up on that front. It's not challenging in itself, like I can take out 90% of his health without even getting damaged, but I'll just get thrown off one single time and get out of rhythm and just die without landing a single other hit. But I'm not bad in Mega Man X7 or anything. I'm not bad. bad. I'm actually really good. I'm really. This means it's down to either Tornado Tunyon or Ride Borsky. Ride Borsky has a very easy fight and is literally a repurposed enemy from Mega Man X2, but Tornado Tunyon is an onion named Tornado Tunyon, so yeah, the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X7 is Tornado Tunyon. Need I say more? Mega Man X8 has some of the easier leaning Mavericks in the X series, which means this entry is going to have some tight competition. Gigabolt's Man o' War has one of the coolest designs in the game, but the boss fight is actually really annoying. I hate having to shoot this guy's arms off of the thing, and he just bugs me a lot, so frick this guy, he's not the easiest. Burn Rooster may be the best Maverick from Mega Man X8, but he certainly is not the easiest, and Gravity Antonion may be a thick version of Magma Centipede, but that thing must be getting put to use somehow because he is certainly not the easiest either. Optic Sunflower is literally a flower from Plants vs. Zombies, so he's not going to put up much of a fight, but he does blind me with those photosynthesis powered sunbeams, which admittedly is a bit difficult to deal with, at least once it starts making my head hurt. Dark Mantis looks a lot scarier than he really is. Great design, and the boss fight is honestly not that bad at all, but he's pretty easy to take down at the end of the day. Not the easiest, just pretty easy. Earthrock Trilobite is a nerd, and he is of course easy to deal with, but he spams the heck out of those purple things sometimes, which is really annoying. Stop it, Earthrock Trilobite, use a different attack for crying out loud. But this means the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X8 comes down to either Bamboo Pandemonium or Avalanche Yeti. Both of these guys are shockingly easy to kill even without their weakness, and it just feels like the Mega Buster melts them, especially for the Yeti. But I guess if anything, Bamboo Pandemonium has more mix-ups in his boss fight to throw you off with, so because of that and that alone, Avalanche Yeti is the easiest Maverick from Mega Man X8. I mean, all this guy does is go underground, jump, go underground, jump, run around a little bit, maybe go underground some more. Those were the easiest Mavericks from every Mega Man X game, X through X8. As always, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please let me know what other Mega Man X videos you might want to see in the comment section, but fair warning, I will not do the most medium Maverick from every Mega Man X game, X through X8. I'm not gonna do it. Stop asking.